So today's the day. Gonna install the new GX AXS kit. Been wanting to get this upgrade for a while. Just couldn't afford the XO cost of the higher end one. So when this came out, I made sure to jump on that. So I ordered this the day it came out and it was sold out, and somehow I was lucky enough to be able to get myself on the list. So real quick kind of overview. Comes with the GX derailleur, and it has this newer battery cover that the XO1 kit and the other high-end ones don't have. So it's supposed to help keep the battery a little safer, I guess, if you have some dings or whatnot. I guess we'll find out. It comes with the battery charger, the battery cable for the charger, toolkit, the B-gap tool, and then the mount for the controller. I didn't get the new toggle. I'm gonna try this out and see how this feels, and if I'm not feeling it, then I'm gonna go ahead and get the other toggle upgrade that they have. It feels fairly stout, like it feels solid. The same for the derailleur. To kind of compare, I have the GX kit on there now. As you can tell, kind of has seen better days. And this one you can definitely tell it's a bit chunkier. So I'm gonna go over a little bit of the install. It should be fairly straightforward, because really all that holds the derailleur in place is that one cable. I don't have a stand to hold the camera, so I'm just gonna do a quick kind of telling you what I'm gonna do it, and then show you kind of what it looks afterwards. So we're gonna take the one bolt out there, unscrew the derailleur. We're gonna take off the cable, remove the housing, come back over and remove the cable so that we can install the new electronic shifter in the place of where this one's at right now. It has that matchmaker system, so I believe if we just take this off, this part should come off, and then the new one will integrate with the brake handle. So kind of the first step we're gonna have to do, I don't know if I can do this one-handed, is you're gonna have to flip the derailleur down so that you can lock it out to release the chain tension. And I don't have a specific tool to remove the chain, like to pinch it. So what I did is I got a Dremel tool with a little sanding bit and stuck it inside this O-ring removal tool, and I basically ground down a little spot right there that you can see, this oval. And this thing works perfect because it'll work basically just like your chain tool, and it'll slide in there, and basically you'll be able to pinch it to open it and to close it. So to kind of show you how it works here, it's ghetto, but it does the job. So it's gonna go right there, and then you pinch it, and boom, it's done. So instead of spending $30 on a new tool, you can make your own, and I can still use this for everything else that I'm working on. So now with the chain off, now we're just gonna remove the bolt for the cable so that you can lose that tension. This is surprisingly a lot harder to do with one hand. So it looks like all the tension is removed. It was kind of about time this barrel nut, or the little end cap, fell off, so the cable was fraying. So with the cable pulled out of that little housing right there, now the derailleur is completely free. So with that, we can basically just take this off. And that's really all there is to take that off. There's not really a whole lot to it. It's a pretty simple process. And what's supposed to be good about this, it's going to be essentially the motor in here is pre-programmed to know the exact distance between each gear. So really you shouldn't have to do much adjustment with this thing. It's going to out of the box know how much to move. The only thing that I think is going to create an issue, and that would be with anything, is your derailleur hanger. If this is bent, obviously this isn't going to read correctly because it's going to move the amount it thinks, but if this is bent, it's going to put it in the wrong position. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my derailleur tool and see how well I can get it straight before I put this on there. Okay, so one thing that I'm just learned right now the hard way is they provide a toolkit in here for you, which has every tool and size that you should need to do this kit. Instead of you trying to find what size that is and going through all of these Allen wrenches only to later figure out that they gave you the tool you need. So they've made this kind of dummy proof. And one thing I didn't notice is the way this matchmaker is set up is essentially you should be able to remove that one screw and basically drop that, take this one out, put this screw in there, and it should basically line up with how you had your original, so you don't have to do any real adjustments. So here's the old GX, and this is where the new controller kind of fits right in and surprisingly easy to put on. So again, that's just the one bolt. And the way this is supposed to be is once you push it, it automatically turns on, and it's supposed to have a 2-year battery life. So we'll see kind of how that all holds up. This garage is kind of messy, but as you can see now you have a little bit less clutter. So now it's just the 2 brake lines and the dropper post cable. Now the derailleur is off. I pulled out all the cable. The chain is already off, of course, because you have to take it off. So now I think the only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get the derailleur hanger tool and see how straight this is. And then if it's a little off, then I'm going to try and straighten it as best as I can before I put on the new derailleur. And this is the tool I'm going to use. Similar to what you see in the bike shops that they use to basically bend that more straight. Bought this on Amazon for like 25 bucks maybe. I couldn't do it one-handed, but the bolt goes into where the derailleur bolts on, and then you basically just twist it on till it's on there snug. And then what it's going to do is you spin this around, and you're going to basically make it to where it touches a point on the rim. And it's basically like barely grazing that rim. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna end up spinning it, marking it. Has these like little rubber pieces that kind of let you mark where it's at. So I always do it where it barely taps the rim. And then that's kind of your point. So anytime you go there, you're gonna hear the rim click. So ideally, if you come down here to the bottom, you should be able to get to that same point. As you can see, this one is off, so it needs to get bent more in. Because if we come back up here, ideally you should do it on a clean rim, but see, because right here, it's sitting flush and it's touching the rim. And in here, it's like a little bit off. And that's with the derailleur on. And again, it's just one bolt that basically holds it in place. One thing to remember with the master link, when you put it back on, Technically, you're not supposed to reuse it, but I mean, you can. Lots of people do. I've reused this and taken it apart several times for cleaning, but there is a proper placement. So when you put on the new power link, when it's on the front cog, you want it to be in the shape of the front, because I've done it backwards before and it ends up not shifting right. So now that it's on, the last thing to do is to use the B-gap tool that you're gonna clip onto the largest cog, and it has a window, and that's what you want to see. You want to see the teeth kind of showing through. That lets you know you're in the right spot. And the B-gap adjustment is going to be right there, and you're going to basically twist it in or out to get it to move this whole derailleur either this way or that way. So I already had done it, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys kind of what they say. So once you put it on there, you're basically going to slide it until this back lip sits on top of the cog. So you have the teeth there, you have this sitting on top, and then what you want is you want the tip of that little arrow to be in the middle of that little gear. So what you're going to do is you're going to twist it until it starts lining up. And put it on there. It kind of moves on you a little bit. And as you can see, it's slowly lining up where it's pretty much in the middle. So that looks pretty spot on. And then that's really all you have to do. So this, to me, seems like a lot more of a no-brainer way to adjust your B-gap. There you go, just a little bit more of a turn. So that kind of looks like that's all there is to install it. So now we're just kind of test it out. So that seems to work pretty well. I might have to tweak it a little bit, or maybe revisit this part, the derailleur.